Welcome, esteemed gentlemen. A lion doesn't lose sleep over the opinion of sheep, nor does a Sigma male lose peace over being single. In a world obsessed with couple goals and Instagram-worthy romance, there exists a rare breed of men who quietly defy the norm. They're not lone wolves because they're lonely. They're lone wolves because the pack slows them down. Sigma males walk a path less traveled, not out of rebellion, but because it's the only road where they feel truly alive. Here's a fact to chew on. A recent study found that single people often report higher levels of personal growth and freedom compared to those in relationships. But for Sigma males, this isn't just a statistic, it's a lifestyle. And no, they're not sulking at home watching rom-coms with a pint of ice cream, though they'd probably find the plot predictable. Instead, they're thriving, embracing their independence, chasing goals, and dodging drama like it's an Olympic sport. But what makes these enigmatic men not just okay with being single, but genuinely happy about it? Buckle up, because the answers might just challenge everything you thought you knew about relationships, happiness, and the modern man. Number one, they know happiness isn't a team sport. Happiness for Sigma males is an internal pursuit, not a partnership project. While many people believe true happiness comes from finding the one, Sigmas know that fulfillment isn't something another person can deliver. They don't rely on someone else's presence to validate their existence or give their lives meaning. Instead, they focus on cultivating their inner world, building a life that aligns with their deepest values and passions. This isn't about arrogance or detachment, it's about mastery of self. Sigma males understand that emotions are fleeting, relationships are unpredictable, and people change. Pinning your happiness on something so fragile feels, to them, like building a house on quicksand. That's not a gamble they're willing to take. Instead, they invest in things they can control, their growth, their achievements, and their sense of purpose. They also know how to find joy in the simplest moments, a quiet walk, the satisfaction of finishing a project, or even the peace that comes from a silent evening alone. It's not that they don't appreciate companionship, but they see it as a bonus, not a necessity. If someone fits into their life, great. If not, their happiness remains intact. Sigma males are fiercely independent, but they're not emotionally cold. They just understand that happiness is an inside job, and they've mastered it. This mindset liberates them from the need to chase relationships out of fear of being alone. For Sigmas, the single life isn't a phase to endure. It's often their ideal state of being. They aren't anti-love, they're pro-self. And when you're genuinely content with who you are, the idea of needing someone else to complete you feels laughably irrelevant. Happiness for them is already in their hands, exactly where it belongs. Number two, relationships drain their energy banks. For a Sigma male, relationships often feel like they require more emotional effort than they're worth. It's not that they lack the capacity to care or connect deeply. They can, and often do, with the right people. But more often than not, relationships come with a price. Constant compromise, emotional upkeep, and the occasional storm of drama. To a Sigma, this isn't just exhausting, it's downright unproductive. They thrive on clarity and purpose, and emotional entanglements can feel like clutter in their otherwise focused lives. It's not about being selfish, it's about being strategic. Every ounce of mental energy spent navigating relationship politics or soothing unnecessary conflicts is energy that could be better spent pursuing their passions, building their empire, or simply enjoying peace of mind. Sigmas are also allergic to forced emotional performances. They don't want to be the constant problem solver, emotional anchor, or mind reader in a relationship. The unspoken expectation to always show up emotionally, sometimes at the expense of their own well-being, feels more like an energy drain than a fulfilling connection. This doesn't mean they don't value meaningful relationships. They do, but they approach them differently. They'd rather invest in a few deeply fulfilling connections than scatter their emotional bandwidth across shallow or high-maintenance interactions. To a Sigma male, peace is priceless, and drama is the tax they refuse to pay. They know their energy is a finite resource, and they guard it fiercely. Instead of chasing love for the sake of appearances or companionship, they prioritize the one relationship that never drains them, the one they have with themselves. Number 3. Self-worth isn't tied to partnership. Sigma males don't measure their worth by the presence or absence of a partner. In a society where romantic relationships are often seen as the ultimate badge of success, Sigmas stand apart with unshakable confidence in who they are. Their self-esteem isn't tied to being someone's boyfriend, husband, or better half. Instead, it's built on the solid foundation of their personal achievements, growth, and unwavering sense of individuality. They understand that relationships, while valuable, are not the sole indicator of a meaningful life. Where others may feel incomplete without a partner, Sigmas already feel whole. They don't look to relationships for validation because they've already validated themselves. This mindset liberates them from the pressure to prove their worth through a relationship or conform to societal milestones like marriage or coupledom. For Sigmas, success is deeply personal. It's not about showing off a perfect relationship on social media or meeting someone else's idea of happiness. Their goals and self-worth revolve around mastering their craft, expanding their knowledge, and continuously improving. They know that these accomplishments, not romantic entanglements, are what bring lasting fulfillment. This independence isn't rooted in arrogance or bitterness, it's about self-reliance. A Sigma male doesn't feel the need to be chosen by someone else to validate his existence. His value is intrinsic, built on what he brings to the table for himself, not on how someone else perceives him. This approach allows Sigmas to approach relationships, if and when they choose to, with a sense of balance. They're not seeking someone to complete them, they're already complete. And that makes their self-worth unshakable, untouched by breakups, singlehood, or societal expectations. For them, their value was never up for debate. Number 4. Relationships can't match their standards. Sigma males are unapologetic idealists when it comes to relationships. Their standards aren't about superficial traits like appearance or status. They're about depth, authenticity, and alignment. For a Sigma, a relationship isn't just about companionship. It's about forming a profound connection that challenges their intellect, complements their individuality, and respects their independence. This high bar is not easy to meet. Sigma males aren't interested in casual flings or surface-level romances. They crave conversations that spark their curiosity, partners who share their vision for growth, and emotional connections that feel effortless yet meaningful. They reject mediocrity outright because they know it will eventually lead to frustration and dissatisfaction. What makes this even more challenging is that Sigmas are fiercely independent and self-sufficient. They don't need someone to complete them or fix their lives. They've already done that for themselves. This means any potential partner must bring something truly exceptional to the table, not just love, but value that adds to their already fulfilling lives. Unfortunately, most relationships operate in a space of compromise that feels suffocating to a Sigma. They're not interested in settling or adapting to someone else's expectations simply to avoid being alone. To them, being in a lackluster or emotionally taxing relationship is far worse than being single. Because of this, Sigmas often find that relationships fall short of their ideals. It's not that they're impossible to please, it's that they value quality over quantity in every aspect of life, including love. Unless a relationship can match their high standards for depth, respect, and alignment, they're perfectly content staying single. After all, for a Sigma, their life is already a masterpiece. They're not willing to compromise it for anything less than extraordinary. Number 5. They see through the illusions of romance. Sigma males have a unique way of viewing romance. Stripped of rose-colored illusions and grounded in brutal honesty. They're not cynical. They're just realists who see love for what it often is, a series of emotional highs that eventually stabilize into routine, often accompanied by compromise and sacrifice. For them, the fleeting thrill of romance rarely outweighs the long-term adjustments it demands. This perspective doesn't stem from bitterness or fear of commitment. It's the result of deep observation and introspection. Sigmas understand that the intoxicating early stages of a relationship, filled with excitement and novelty, are temporary. As time goes on, Love often requires sacrificing personal time, energy, and even parts of one's identity to maintain harmony. For a Sigma, that trade-off rarely feels worth it. They also recognize how society romanticizes relationships, portraying them as the ultimate source of happiness. Sigmas know better. They've seen how unhealthy dependencies, unrealistic expectations, and societal pressures often taint what should be a genuine connection. To them, the idea of finding completion in another person is not only unrealistic but counterproductive. Instead, Sigmas choose the steady satisfaction of self-sufficiency. They find fulfillment in their independence, their passions, and their personal growth. This doesn't mean they're incapable of love or unwilling to share their lives with someone. They're just not seduced by the fairy tale version of it. They value love as a choice, not a necessity, and prefer a partnership that enhances their life rather than complicates it. By seeing through the illusions of romance, Sigma males free themselves from the societal pressure to seek love at any cost. They don't reject love. They simply refuse to let it become a crutch for their happiness. For them, real strength lies in being whole on their own. Number 6. Reclaiming their time. For Sigma males, time is not just a resource. It's their most valuable asset. They understand that every second spent is a second they can never get back, and this awareness drives their fiercely protective attitude toward how they allocate it. Relationships, for all their potential benefits, often come with a heavy demand on time. Conversations, emotional support, compromises, and shared activities that may not align with a Sigma's goals or passions. Sigmas are deeply purpose-driven individuals. They thrive on pursuing personal projects, mastering their craft, or exploring their passions. For them, these pursuits aren't hobbies. They're essential components of who they are. Every hour spent on something they don't deem meaningful feels like a betrayal of their potential. Relationships, while rewarding for some, often fall into the category of time-draining commitments that interrupt their flow and focus. It's not that they don't value connection or intimacy, they do, but Sigmas weigh everything against their core priorities, and relationships rarely pass the test. Casual small talk, constant texting, or the unspoken expectation to always be available can feel suffocating and unproductive. They would rather spend their evenings refining a skill, brainstorming their next big idea, or enjoying the freedom of uninterrupted solitude. To a Sigma, every relationship comes with an implicit cost. The question they always ask is, does this add value to my life, or does it demand more than it gives? If the answer is the latter, they have no qualms about walking away. Their time is not something they give freely. It's reserved for what truly matters, and in a world that constantly pulls people in 100 directions, their ability to guard their time is what allows them to live with intention, clarity, and purpose. Number 7. They're unapologetically selfish. Sigma males don't buy into the guilt trip that society often lays on people for being selfish. For them, self-preservation is not just important, it's non-negotiable. They understand that in order to thrive and grow, they must prioritize themselves above all else. They don't apologize for it, and they don't feel bad about it. The world often expects people to be self-sacrificial, to give up their time, energy, and emotional resources for the sake of others. For most, this can feel like an obligation. But Sigmas know that personal growth and mental clarity require a level of selfishness that the average person is unwilling to embrace. They understand that by putting their needs first, they are actually in a better position to help others, whether it's through their creativity, their achievements, or the stability of their own well-being. This unapologetic selfishness isn't about being cold or indifferent to the needs of others. It's about knowing that if they don't take care of themselves, everything else falls apart. Sigmas understand that you can't pour from an empty cup. Without the time and space to nurture their own mind, body, and soul, they become less effective in everything they do, including relationships. So they protect their time, energy, and emotional bandwidth with fierce resolve. There's no shame in it, and they don't apologize. They don't need anyone's approval to live their life according to their own rules. In fact, they view self-care as a form of strength, not weakness. If others don't understand their need to be unapologetically selfish, that's their problem, not the Sigmas. Their priority will always be the person staring back at them in the mirror. Number 8. Freedom to explore. One of the greatest advantages that Sigma males possess is the freedom to explore, without the constraints of a relationship or external obligations demanding their attention. They are free to fully immerse themselves in the pursuits that ignite their curiosity and passion. The absence of romantic responsibilities means their time and energy can be devoted entirely to exploring hobbies, learning new skills, or embarking on adventures that might otherwise be compromised. For the Sigma male, exploration isn't limited to travel or adrenaline-fueled escapades. It's a mindset that permeates every aspect of life. They delve into books, pick up new languages, dive deep into artistic expression, or challenge themselves with complex intellectual pursuits. With no one to answer to, no schedules to accommodate, and no compromises to make, their world expands beyond the ordinary boundaries. This level of flexibility enables them to move at their own pace, diving into what truly matters to them without the interruptions of a partner's needs or preferences. Moreover, the sense of freedom that comes with living without relationship constraints fosters a richer, more fulfilling existence. As they carve out time for what excites them, Sigma males often discover new facets of themselves and their world that many others overlook in their pursuit of relationship-based happiness. Whether it's a solo trip to an unknown country, the process of mastering a new instrument, or pursuing an intense creative project, the possibilities are limitless. Ultimately, this ability to explore without compromise not only enriches the Sigma male's life, but also helps them grow as individuals. They build a life that is uniquely theirs, one filled with purpose, adventure, and personal discovery. It's a life where curiosity isn't just indulged, but is the driving force behind everything they do. Number 9. Mastery over loneliness. While many people dread being alone, for the Sigma male, loneliness is not something to fear. It's a powerful tool for growth. They've learned to embrace solitude not as a void that needs to be filled, but as a rich canvas on which to paint their best work, explore their deepest thoughts, and push the boundaries of their potential. Where others feel isolated or disconnected when left to their own devices, Sigma males see loneliness as an opportunity to reconnect with themselves. It's in these moments of solitude that their creativity flourishes, their intellect sharpens, and their sense of purpose becomes clearer. They don't need constant external interaction to feel validated. Instead, they cultivate a rich inner world where ideas, passions, and self-reflection reign. Loneliness for them isn't an emotional prison. It's the workshop where their best projects are conceived, their new skills are honed, and their most profound insights emerge. While others might be filling their schedules with social engagements to stave off discomfort, the Sigma male has already found contentment in the silence. To them, the quiet is not the absence of something, it's the presence of everything. Number 10. Deep introspection and self-awareness. For the Sigma male, deep introspection and self-awareness are not mere hobbies. They are vital aspects of daily life. In a society that constantly pulls individuals in 1,000 different directions, the Sigma male takes the time to pause, reflect, and truly understand who he is beneath the surface. While many chase fleeting distractions or rely on external validation for their sense of self, the Sigma male has mastered the art of looking inward, creating a strong and stable foundation that guides every decision he makes. This level of self-awareness comes from a dedication to personal growth. Sigma males spend hours alone, contemplating their thoughts, desires, and needs without the influence of others. They don't fear solitude, they embrace it. It's in these moments of reflection that they discover what truly matters to them, what motivates them, what they value, and where they want to go in life. This deep understanding allows them to make choices that are aligned with their true selves, rather than trying to live up to the expectations of others or follow societal norms. By taking the time to truly know themselves, Sigma males are also able to identify their strengths and weaknesses with brutal honesty. They can adapt and improve without fear of judgment, and they can set clear personal goals that lead to true fulfillment. This self-awareness not only brings clarity but also a sense of peace, as they are no longer bogged down by confusion or the need for approval. As a result, Sigma males often experience a level of contentment that many others struggle to achieve. They don't need relationships, external achievements, or societal recognition to feel validated. Their happiness comes from within, an unshakable, self-built foundation of understanding and acceptance. Conclusion: the unseen power of the Sigma male. In a world that often glorifies romantic relationships and societal expectations, the Sigma male quietly stands as a testament to a different kind of success, a success rooted not in others, but in the mastery of oneself. His happiness isn't bound by the confines of traditional milestones. It's derived from his unwavering independence, his relentless pursuit of growth, and his ability to define success on his own terms. While the world may scramble for external validation, chasing fleeting moments of affection and approval, the Sigma male finds fulfillment in the freedom to explore, the peace of solitude, and the clarity that comes from deep introspection. His happiness isn't a quest for love, but a celebration of self-discovery and personal legacy. So as you watch the Sigma male carve his path in life, seemingly detached from the pursuit of romantic entanglements, remember this: he's not running away from love. He's simply running toward a more profound understanding of himself, and in doing so, he's discovered the kind of happiness that transcends the surface-level attachments others so often cling to. In his quiet, solitary existence, he's living proof that the richest lives aren't always the loudest ones. They are often the most self-aware, and that, in itself, is an extraordinary kind of freedom. If you've found yourself captivated by the depth and complexity of the Sigma male mindset, don't miss out on the rest of our insights. There's so much more to uncover about living life on your own terms, finding true contentment, and mastering the art of independence. Hit that subscribe button now and join a community of like-minded individuals who understand that true freedom begins with embracing your authentic self. Trust us, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Stay curious, stay exceptional,